I went to Palm Spring and it was 120.
Whew.
Good evening, everyone. We're just to let you know we are going live on YouTube.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Madam City Clerk.
And Mina,
Good evening, everyone. How is everyone?
good.
Good. Oh, it's warm.
I mean,
Hello, Art. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Everything's good. Thank you.
There we go.
Perfect.
All
All
right.
right.
Evening, Councilmember Francis.
Hello, sir. How are you?
All right, how about yourself?
Oh, fair to Midland? No, that's
All right, fair to Midland. There it is.
There you go.
There it
Hey,
is.
Paulette.
Hey there.
Good
Hello,
evening.
Paulette. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm here. This is one more. I've been watching these screens all day, so I'm like, now, okay, let's do this thing. 'Cause I gotta do it for the next week.
Did you start school already, Councilwoman Francis?
Yes, while we're away, I started school and I'm doing distance learning,
What grade are you teaching this year?
first and second.
Oh, very exciting.
Yes, it is most days. I mean, the children are fine. Like I tell everybody, the kids will be fine. Just pray for the adults. They're the ones that are frustrated, and I'm getting phone calls. I can't get on. What's going on here? Yeah, so
I have a nephew who started preschool, and I'm afraid this is his first year going to school. So I'm afraid he's going to think this is the way school will always be after this.
well, it's going to be some combination because once you go technology, there's no turning back. So fortunately, he's at the beginning of his career, his school career, and so it's pretty exciting though. It really is. This is the first really big change in public education and the way we're teaching. So it's exciting. It made me want to stick around for a while longer.
Hi, everyone. Is everybody on?
Yes,
I think so.
Yes,
Okay.
I believe we're all here.
Are we live now?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Okay, let's go ahead and start the meeting. So we're ready to begin tonight's Gardena City Council meeting for Tuesday, September 8th, 2020. Madam City Clerk, will you call the roll?
Mayor Serta,
Here?
Mayor Pro Tem Henderson,
here.
Councilmember Kaskanian,
Present.
and Councilmember Tanaka,
Here.
Councilmember Francis.
Here.
Okay, at this time, we're going to go into closed session, but before we do, Madam City Clerk, do we have anybody from the public wishing to speak on any closed session item?
Madam Mayor, we do not.
Okay, so at this time, we're going to go to closed session. We hopefully will be back by 7:30 and we will resume the meeting.
Evening, Chief.
Good evening. How are you?
Nice to see you
Nice
again.
to see you again. Yeah.
Again.
How you doing, Chief?
Hey, good evening. How are you? It's good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mina. How are you?
Hi,
I'm-
Mia.
I'm good. Hi, everybody. Good. Just kind of hot, but good. It's warm.
We're not live right now, are we?
I don't know. I-
Councilmember Cascanian, we are live.
Thank you.
Hello, sir.
My background. Okay, well, I should have a background, but I don't. Are we live?
Yes, we are, Madam
Yes, we
Mayor.
are, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and begin the meeting. We're ready to begin the regular meeting for the Gardena City Council meeting for Tuesday, September 8th, 2020. Madam City Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Mayor Serta.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Henderson.
Here.
Councilmember Tanaka.
Here.
Councilmember Cascanian.
Present.
And Councilmember Francis.
Here.
Okay, thank you. Before we move forward, let me just read this here. In order to minimize the spread of the COVID-19 virus, Governor Newsom has issued executive orders that temporarily suspends the requirements of the Brown Act. Please be advised that the council chambers are closed to the public and that some or all of the Gardena City Council members may be attending this meeting telephonically. If you would like to participate in this meeting, you can participate via the following options. 1, you can view the meeting live on the Spectrum Channel 22 or online at youtube.com/City of Gardena. The second way you can participate is before the meeting by emailing the Deputy City Clerk at bromero@cityofgardena.org by 5 p.m. on the day of the meeting and write public comments in parentheses in the subject line. Comments will be read into the record up to the time limit of 3 minutes. The third way you can participate is via Zoom webinar. So join the Zoom meeting via the internet or via phone conference. The direct URL is https://web.zoo.web.us/j//875-422-00260. The phone number, if you'd like to call in, is 1-669-900-9128. And the meeting ID number is 875-422-00260. If you wish to speak live on a specific agenda item during the meeting, you may use the raise your hand feature during that item you wish to speak on. For non-agenda items, you will be allowed to speak during oral communications. And during a public hearing, you will be allowed to speak when the mayor opens the public hearing. Members of the public wishing to address the city council will be given 3 minutes to speak. The city of Gardena thanks you in advance as we take all of the precautions in preventing the spreading of the COVID-19 virus. Okay, so with that being said, Madam City Attorney, do we have anything to report from closed session?
No, Madam Mayor, we have no reportable action taken tonight.
Okay, at this time, we're going to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm going to ask if Mayor Pro Tem, if you can lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Immediately following that, we will have our invocation. And Councilmember Tanaka, if you'll be so kind as to lead us in that as well.
All right, thank you, Madam Mayor. Colleagues and staff, please put your right hand over your heart. Repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Father, we just thank you for allowing us to come together this evening, safe and out of harm's way. Father, we ask that you pray for those that are suffering from all the horrific fires in California. Bless our firefighters as they're out there putting their lives on the line to keep us safe. Keep us safe from the heat that's been generated this last week. Thank the city for putting out cooling stations so those without air could survive. Father, we just pray for those that are suffering because of loss of job or loss of business. And Father, we pray for our kids as they go back to school, some on Zoom and some actually going back to classes. We just pray for their safety and that they can learn something through these tough times. And Father, we just want to pray for the nation and our leadership and those that are running our country. We just want them to make sound decisions, and we know that there's an election coming. So just keep everybody on a level that they continue to make sure that the country is run well. And Father, with that, allow us as a city council to make sure that the things that we do for our citizens and our city are the right things. And so Father, with that, we pray in your son's name, amen.
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 Thank you to both of you guys for leading us in the pledge as well as in tonight's invocation.
Thank you, ma'am.
We're going to first begin tonight with our presentations. Tonight, our first item number 4A1 will be a presentation regarding the November 3rd, 2020 election. And that's going to be made by our city clerk, Ms. Mina Semenza.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor Serta, council members, and residents of Gardena. Tonight, I'll be presenting some very important information for our upcoming presidential general election. Slide 2. LA County's new voting experience is our next slide. As you know, we experienced in our March 2020 election, what we experienced is what I'm trying to say is that a new voting experience. So electronic ballot marking devices and e-poll books were used to cast our votes. We experienced a variety of issues, including problems with securing internet connections, setting up e-poll books, and long lines at our vote centers. The county was made aware of these things, and they listened to our concerns, and they came back with a better voting experience for our November election. Some of the things that will remain the same but have been improved are, number 1, vote by mail. Number 2, 10 days of voting before election day. 3, vote centers set up all throughout LA County. And 4, e-poll books. and ballot marking devices. Next slide. All vote by mail for November presidential general election. Due to COVID-19, Governor Newsom signed AB 860, which requires the county election officials to mail a ballot to every registered voter. The LA County Board of Supervisors passed a motion calling for the registrar recorder to mail a vote by mail ballot to all registered voters at their home address starting on October 5th, 2020. You will have multiple options to return your ballot. One will be by mail, no postage required. Voting by mail is easy, safe, and secure. And of course, it is highly recommended that you mail early. Number two, at a local 24-hour drop box. This is new and an additional way of voting. There will be over 300 safe and secure vote by mail drop boxes available throughout LA County. A full list of these boxes will be made available by the Registrar Recorder's Office. The City of Gardena will have 2 of these boxes, as I will discuss later on in slide number 7. Number 3, at a vote center. A full list of vote centers will be made available online at lavote.net in early October. A vote center catalog will be mailed to you leading up to the election. Next slide. Snapshot of November presidential general election. LA County has more than 5.5 million registered voters. There will be safe in-person voting centers that will follow state and county COVID guidelines. We will have 10 days of voting available prior to Election Day and more 24-hour drop boxes throughout the county. Next slide. Voter information and guidance relating to COVID-19. LA County will encourage voters to stay home by using their vote by mail ballot. Although they will offer in-person voting, they will follow state and county public health and safety guidelines, such as personal protective equipment for election workers, wearing of facial coverings, social distancing, sanitizing surfaces, and ballot marking devices after each use. Next slide. The City of Gardena will have 2 vote centers. The first one is at Raleigh Park. The auditorium and gym will be used as an 11-day vote center. So we'll have 2 locations there, the auditorium and the gym. You will be able to start voting on Saturday, October 24, from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. The second one will be located at the Nakaoka Community Center, and that will be a 5-day vote center. You'll be able to start voting on Friday, October 30th, from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at Nakaoka. And voting hours on Election Day will be from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Next slide, please. The City of Gardena will have 2 24-hour vote by mail drop boxes. And I would like to say that these photos were sent to the county, and I think they're very helpful to see the actual location. So as you can see at Raleigh Park, it's outside the front door of the auditorium. At the Nakaoka Center, it's on the sidewalk at the north side entrance, located at the roundabout parking lot off of 162nd Street, as you will see in the picture. And so you'll see where you see the red squares are where the boxes are going to be located. And you'll see the picture of the 24-hour vote by mail drop box is shown. And it's similar to kind of like a mailbox that with a thin slot, and it is very secure and bolted down in several places so that it's tamper proof. And that is what we have been told by LA County. So the drop boxes are going to act as vote centers. If you're in line to drop off your ballot prior to 8 p.m., you will be able to put your ballot in that box. The 6 closest locations for 24-hour drop boxes will be in your sample ballot book. So there will be 6 other locations in case you weren't in that particular area, and they will be listed in the sample ballot book. And you can also go to the Registrar Recorder's website at lavote.net to see those locations. Next slide. These are important dates to remember. September 24th, mailing of sample ballot books. October 5, mailing of vote by mail ballots. And it's the first day of vote by mail drop boxes that when the boxes open, when you're able to drop off your ballot in those boxes, October 5th. October 19th is the official registration deadline. And this is very important because if a voter is not registered by this date, they will not be issued a vote by mail ballot. You will be able, though, to register to vote at a vote center, but your vote will be counted as a provisional ballot. October 24th, 11-day vote centers open between 10 and 7 p.m. October 30th, 5-day vote centers open between 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. And November 3rd is election day, and vote centers are open 7 to 8. So please remember to register to vote. You can also double check your registration status by going to www.lavote.net. And you can also register to vote by using Gardena Direct app. Download it now for all your needs, but you can also register to vote there. If you haven't already done so, please do so. Please vote early. And I would just like to say that for those folks who don't have access to a computer, you can call City Hall at 310-217-9500, and we will be very happy to assist you. And that is our general city line. So if you need help, give us a call. So I would just like to say one more thing, that due to time restrictions, we will take a couple of questions from the public if there are any. And we do welcome further questions by leaving your contact information in the question and answer box, and we will get back to you. If there are no questions, are there any questions from the council and mayor? Otherwise, that concludes my report.
Okay. First off, to our city clerk, thank you. That was a very informative, very detailed. You did a great job with that, and so good. I don't think anybody has any questions.
Okay. We tried our best to make it as thorough and to answer any possible questions. And I thank you very much for the opportunity. And that concludes my report. Thank you, everyone.
I'll probably just have one request tonight under directors, but it'll be in regards to this important dates to remember. Might be something to consider putting on our website.
Yes, we'll be doing that, and we'll be posting also on the windows, by the main by the lobby of Nakoka Center and by City Hall. So, and we'll, as we get into this, we come up with other things. We're going to do as much as we can to get people to vote and give them explicit instructions and any assistance that they need. And people can call us at City Hall, and we'll be happy to help.
Okay, sounds
Okay.
good. I guess we don't need to make it a directive then.
Thank
Very
you.
good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Okay, so let's move on. Next, we have item number 4A2, certificates of commendation and special recognition of retirement and longtime service to the city of Gardena. So there are 3 people tonight who we will be recognizing that have had over 30 years of service to our community. And I think at this point, our city manager, I'm assuming, will take over, or our chief.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First of all, I'd like to congratulate all of our retirees. Great job. Thank you for all your service. First up is Captain Wikilipi Nico, and I'm going to read a little bit about his bio here. Captain Wikilipi Nico began his career with Gardena Police in October of 1989 when he attended the LASD Academy. His work concentrated primarily on patrol-related operations. In addition to regular patrol operations, he was an FTO from September 2000 to February of 2003, and a member of the South Bay Platoon. He was promoted to the rank of sergeant in February of 2003, and as a sergeant, he worked primarily as a patrol supervisor. During his tenure as a sergeant, Wiki also worked as the FTO program supervisor and South Bay platoon supervisor. He was promoted to the rank of lieutenant in May of 2007. He worked as a patrol lieutenant and was named the first lieutenant to command District 3 after the launch of our department's district policing program. In 2008, he became the Detective Bureau Commander while also taking responsibility for department recruiting and hiring. In October 2009, Wiki was named the commander of the newly formed City of Gardena Compliance Bureau and helped to reorganize and restructure the Community Development Department at City Hall. He worked there for a short time before returning to command the Detective Bureau. In November of 2009, he was able to transfer his love of training and martial arts directly to his job at work and was made the lead instructor in the GPD Defense Tactics Training Unit. He attended the LASD Force Instructor School, which is considered one of the LASD's most physically demanding courses. From 2010 to 2015, Wiki's duties also included Public Information Officer, City of Gardena Emergency Preparedness Coordinator, and Special Operations Bureau Commander. From January 2015 to September of 2015, Wiki was also the GPD SWAT Commander. He is a recipient of numerous commendations over his career and a winner of the South Bay Medal of Valor Distinguished Service Award for Valor. Outside of work, Wiki enjoys spending time with his wife, Liz, son, Taylor, and daughter, Alexa. He received an AA in General Studies from Rio Hondo College in 1982 and a BA in Economics from UC Riverside, where he played Division I basketball in 1988. He is currently researching colleges to attend in order to work towards his master's degree. He is a Session 241 graduate of the FBI National Academy, a certified mentoring and coaching instructor, a certified Krav Maga defensive tactics instructor, and has studied numerous well-known martial arts masters. In retirement, Wiki is looking forward to spending more time with his family, cooking, traveling, fishing, hunting, and of course, working on the many projects that he and Liz have planned around the house. I'm going to turn it over to our chief to say a few words.
Good evening, Mayor and members of our City Council. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, I've been unlocked here. Okay. Wiki dedicated himself to mentoring others. He put much time into helping others achieve their dreams, and we wish Wiki health and happiness in his new adventures in retirement. I'd like to just say two quick things about all of these retirees. The number one thing is that they all went to the same police academy together. And that's very unique and rare that, hey, you have three people that have lasted 30 years within a police department, and they're all in the same academy. The other thing is that I'd like to pass along that they wanted me to make sure that I gave the message to you that they wanted to thank our mayor, Tasha Serta, and our city council for their support and leadership through the years. They love this community, were raised by this community, and they dedicate their lives to this community. They all feel that there is no place better than the city of Gardena to work, and they're very appreciative of all the support.
All right, thank you, Chief. Next up is Sergeant Gonzalez. Sergeant Rodney Gunny Gonzalez was hired by the Gardena Police Department on October 23rd, 1989, and attended the Los Angeles Sheriff's Academy class number 259 with Officer Evans and Captain Nico. Before joining the police department, Rodney proudly served as a first sergeant in the U.S. Marine Corps. In his 30 years with the Gardena Police Department, Rodney served as a motor officer instructor, firearms instructor, explorer advisor, peer support team member, and most notably an honor guard officer. Gunny was promoted to the rank of sergeant in May of 2009, was assigned to patrol. He continued to work as a motor instructor and trained several former motor officers in the department. Gunny was later assigned to the position of sergeant in the Administrative Services Division, overseeing the Records Division and the jail. Throughout the years and despite his regular duties, Gunny devoted much of his own time with the Gardena Police Explorers, teaching them marching drills. Gunny has provided over 30 years of dedicated service to the city of Gardena and has been an exemplary leader to his Gardena Police Department family. He will be remembered for his dedication to the Honor Guard and Motor Program and truly will be missed.
Yeah, many people knew Rodney throughout our Gardena community. He was deeply entrenched in our community for 30 years. He was a motor officer, a department instructor, but probably more importantly, he gave countless number of hours to our Gardena youth through our Explorer program, and he made impactful contributions to their lives, some of which are working for us today. Rodney was the model employee. He exemplified what it means to be a Gardena police officer. So we wish him luck in his adventures during retirement. But at the same time, we hope that we can get him back as a reserve to continue leading our honor guard because it is such a very good detail. So.
Okay, thanks, Chief. And last but not least, Officer Yvette Evans. Officer Yvette Evans was hired by the Gardena Police Department on October 23rd, 1989, and attended the Los Angeles Sheriff's Academy with Sergeant Gonsalves and Captain Nico. Officer Evans has worked patrol for her entire 30-year career by her own choice and loved the job. While working patrol, she served on a variety of assignments, including the bike team, the South Bay platoon, and the police officer recruitment team. Officer Evans also proudly served as a member of the police department's peer support. Always willing to assist, Officer Evans took time throughout the years to mentor new officers and occasionally worked as an acting field training officer. She also dedicated many hours to teach report writing to our police explorers. Moreover, Officer Evans served as one of the first district officers assigned to District 1. Officer Evans is well-liked and respected as a senior officer in the Gardena Police Department. She has always displayed a positive attitude and is admired for her hard work and integrity. She has provided over 30 years of exemplary service to the city of Gardena and has been a great friend for Gardena Police Department family. Officer Evans will be truly missed. We wish her all the best in the years ahead. Chief?
Yvette Evans drove a radio car for 30 years, which is a testament to her resilience. That is unique. That is rare. You do not hear about that very often anymore. I often say that we're always looking for examples of what good looks like to show our other officers. Well, Yvette Evans is an example of what great looks like. The way she conducted herself, the way she served this community with dignity and respect on a daily basis for 30 years. She's going to be truly, truly missed, and we wish her luck in her adventures in retirement.
Okay, City Manager as well as Chief of Police, thank you so much for reading those bios and saying such wonderful things about, the officers. As an entire council, we all wish them well and a happy retirement. Okay, with that, we're going to move on to item number 4C1, which is appointments. Does any member of the council have any appointments to be made to any commissions, committees, councils, or board at this time? Okay, if not, we're going to move on to the consent calendar. Does any member of the council, I'm sure everybody's read it over. Does any member of the council have any items that they wish to discuss separately?
I do, Madam Mayor.
Okay.
Okay, the one, item number 3 and item number 4.
1 second here.
Yeah.
Item number 3 and item number 4, item number D3 and D4?
D3 and D4. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to pull those 2 items out. And is it any other items that anybody else wish to discuss separately? Okay, if not, I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the consent calendar, excluding items number 5D3 and 5D4. Can I get a motion?
So moved. Second.
I'm sorry, who made the motion? Okay.
Henderson, second.
Gotcha. Okay, Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Councilmember Kaskanen and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Henderson. Will you call the roll, please?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Councilmember Kaskanian,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Henderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Tanaka,
Yes.
Councilmember Francis,
Yes.
and Mayor Serta.
Yes. Okay, next we're going to move on to item number 6, which is excluded consent calendar items. Councilmember Francis, go ahead.
Okay, I just, in looking at one for approving a consultant agreement with DeNova Planning for environmental consultant. I just thought we should have some conversation about it at our last council, well, not the last one, but some of our neighbors have raised some concerns about the hiring of consultants. And I just, and also, I just want at least have some conversation so they'll know that that we have good reason for them and we're not just, we really do know what we're doing. And then as looking at the authorization to purchase the Toyota, a lot of this has to do with our budget concerns. And if we are in fact having difficulty, some may wonder where's this money coming from? How are we able to support all this? So.
Councilwoman Francis, I'm sorry to interrupt, but can we take one item at a time since you guys will have to vote on each item? So you're discussing the second item, but we should just be discussing item 5D3 at this time.
Okay, 5D3. Okay, I'm raising the concerns there because we have had neighbors that were wondering why are we always hiring consultants to do, don't we have people on staff that can take care of this type of research, I guess you could.
Councilmember Francis, let me take on the first question as to can existing staff take on the responsibility of providing us with environmental work as it relates to the TEL development standards? The answer to that is no. We don't have the expertise to do this kind of work. This is highly technical work. I don't know of any city that, well, maybe some of the bigger cities like LA, but some of the medium-sized cities, a lot of medium-sized cities don't have the technical expertise on staff. It's just not feasible for us to bring on somebody to do this kind of work. And then when it's over, then the work ends. And then what do you do with a staff that has so much expertise in one field, but yet nothing to do? So the next course of action, obviously, is to hire consultants who are experts in the field, who could provide the expertise in doing the technical research on CEQA and environmental impact reviews. And yeah, we just simply don't have the technical expertise to do that in-house.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments? Okay, if not, can I get a motion to approve item number 5D3?
Moved.
Second.
Okay, Madam City Clerk, a motion was made by Mayor Pro Tem Henderson and a second by Councilmember Cascanian. Will you call the roll, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Henderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Cascanian,
Yes.
Councilmember Tanaka,
Yes.
Councilmember Francis,
Yes.
Councilmember Francis,
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. Okay, next is item number 5D4. Your concern, Councilwoman Francis?
Yes, again, with the budget concern, well, at least our budget concerns, at least what I've been told, again, we're spending money, and sometimes people wonder where's the money coming from? How can we afford to buy a new car, a new Highlander when the other things that are going on? What we talked about how we may financially, because of COVID and the pandemic and business not doing so well, that we may have some financial difficulties down the road. So I'm just wondering how are we able to do this?
Right. Councilmember Francis, is a good question. It's a fair question for our viewers out there. So for this particular item, we're purchasing one 2020 Toyota Highlander Hybrid LE. And this is to replace a very, very old unit in the recreation department. And this is primarily going to be used for our increased needs of our senior services. This is going to be replacing a 1997 Safari. Over 50% of our rec fleet is over 12 years old. So it's a lot of these cars and trucks that we have do need to be replaced from time to time, part of our rotation. The most important thing that I wanted to share with you with regard to the budget side is that the funds that we're going to be using to purchase the Highlander is going to come from the AQMD, the Air Quality Management District. It is an allocation given to the city. It does not come from the general fund. We typically get about $80,000 a year to augment and supplement our fleet for us to be able to buy, some of the more expensive hybrid models to save in gas and save the environment. So this has absolutely no impact at all on the general fund. And again, this is going to come from our AQMD funds. If we don't use the funds, they tend to question why you're not buying the stuff the cars that you're supposed to be buying. And so, this is going to come from that fund.
Okay, so it's a special pot, not, doesn't have anything to do with our main, okay.
That's correct.
Right.
And there's plenty of money in that pot. Again, a rotational basis, we've got to spend it on vehicle replacement, rotation schedule.
Okay. Right, thank you, City Manager.
Are there any other questions or comments?
Well, that he brought it up, I have a quick one. So we're buying a Toyota, but we have 2 car companies in our city. Did we look at them? Nissan and Honda? That's
correct. All of the cars that we can buy from the AQMD has to fit in fact, has to be on their list in order to be able to qualify for the funding. So we looked at them, and this is for the size and the things that we're going to be doing for delivering meals and whatnot. This is the type of vehicle that would suit our needs. We did look we actually need a truck for the recreation, but there is no hybrid truck that qualifies under the AQMD. So this is the next best thing that we could find. Big enough car to be able to do the things that we need.
That's fine. Thanks.
Okay. Any more questions or comments?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
we have a member of the public who has his hand raised, Mr. Martinez.
Okay.
Okay. There we go. We'll start in a minute. Mr. Martinez, please go ahead.
Thank you so much. Good evening. Good evening. Yeah, I wanted to just go on Councilman Francis. Keep up the good work. You're fighting the good fight, so keep it going. Stay positive. My question is, yes, do we really need to spend the money now? That's exactly what the rest of us taxpayers are doing. And having these hidden funds, we have funds over here, we have funds over there, we have funds over here. Those people that are getting furloughed and let go and stuff like that are not really feeling that effect. So don't you think we could pull our resources together to really drive this and maybe say, hey, maybe we can't buy it this year, but maybe we'll see where we're at in a year or 2 from now. Or we'll just kind of fix and repair some of our older vehicles using the Gardena local mechanics, so then see it's a win-win for everybody. Or we're just going to continue to just keep spending money. And on next meeting, you might say we need a consultant for this. Hey, we need a consultant to check out new vehicles because we don't have the expertise. I think that's, yeah. So that's our concern. Citizens, we're out here concerned. People are losing businesses. People are talking, chitter-chatting about it. And stuff like this continues to happen. Money keeps going out, keeps going out, keeps going out. Budget doesn't even make sense anymore. But yet we're still spending money. We're going a little bonkers out here. So that's all I want to say on that one.
Are we back on regular screen? Mr. City Manager, will you reiterate the time frame that money can be used and what it can be used for again, please?
So we have a lot of money, different pots of money, and they're called special revenue funds. And you can find that if our residents participate during the budget process and during the audit process. We talk about this in detail. Basically, you have the general fund, which is a pot of money that can be used for anything else, salaries, anything that you can think of, you can use the general fund for. It's what it's called general fund. Then you have the special revenue fund, which the AQMD fund is special specially termed, and it's used for special use, special revenue fund. You can't use it for anything else. You can only use it for specific purposes. In this case, you can use it for vehicles, for instance. You can't just buy any vehicle, like I said. You have to buy a hybrid, high efficient, environmentally conscious vehicle. That's all you can buy it for. So we get 80,000 a year from AQMD, and we can only use it for specific items. There's very strict guidelines that we have to follow. Otherwise, the money will be forfeited.
Mr. City Manager, what happens if we as a council just decide we're going to take that money and use it for something else? What happens and what are the penalties?
You would have to pay it back to the AQMD.
Okay. Will we be allowed in the future to get money from them, or are we suspended from them if we as a council just decided to just, hey, I'm going to pull this and pay a salary for somebody or something like that?
That's correct. They can withhold allocation from us. We suffer because we use this money to, again, augment our fleet. And it can only, there's very, very strict guidelines. In fact, you can only pick from a list that they give you. So to the model.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions or comments?
Madam Mayor, this is Mayor Pro Tem Henderson, but I'll probably wait till directives. When I first got on, I did this thing called Budget in Brief, where it defined the different fiscal years and the different pots of money and the general fund and transportation, everything to kind of educate the community on how this process works and the budgeting process works. So I'll bring it back up in directives to see if we can get some sort of legend and we can put on our website for folks to kind of review so they can understand. But I'll wait till we get to directives, and that may help some folks later on.
Okay. Any more questions or comments? If not, can I get a motion to approve item number 5D4?
So moved, Tanaka.
Is there a second?
Second Henderson.
Okay, Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Councilmember Tanaka and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Henderson. Will you call the roll?
Councilmember Tanaka,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Henderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Cascanian,
Yes.
Councilmember Francis,
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. Okay, next up is item number 7A1, and this is under the Planning and Environmental Quality Commission action sheet. It's site plan review number 4-19, the tentative track map 2-19. Does any member of the council have any questions or comments? Okay, if not, we're going to go ahead and receive and file that item. Next, we're also, let's see, just a quick note, the September 1st, 2020 meeting for the Planning Commission was canceled. Next up is oral communications. Madam City Clerk, do we have any speakers for oral communications?
No, Madam Mayor. Oh, excuse me, we do. I just saw a hand go up. Mr. Martinez has would like to speak.
Okay, I just want to remind our speaker that you are allotted 3 minutes, and there is a timer that's on, and please, when the time is up, at that time, just quickly finish your comment then. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Just a couple questions on the GL, or sorry, the voucher list. There's a lot of expense going on for childcare. So just curious on what's that. Sometimes it's like 10,000 to 2,000. It has different like family name childcare centers. So just curious on what's that all about. I couldn't understand what it is.
Mr. Martinez, hold on 1 second, and I'll allot you your time back in a second.
Yeah.
Madam City Attorney, if that was an item in regards to the child care, doesn't it have to be a question asked during that time?
It does, Madam Mayor. I mean, Mr. Martinez can make the statement now, but if he wanted to discuss it under the general ledger, he could have brought it up during the consent item.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Martinez, go ahead.
Well, is there a preference? Do you want me to wait now, or just whatever's going to work?
I mean, you can ask the question, but there's not going to be any discussion on that item. If you ask to speak on an agenda item, we talk specifically on that item. Anything that's not on the agenda,
Okay.
Oral communications for at that time.
Okay, cool. Well, just some of us are questioning with that one. So if you guys could have some more clearance on that, that would be great, or something published. Same thing too, Councilmember Member Francis. was asking, inquiring, can we use local services? Once again, the voucher list doesn't reflect that. So I was wondering if we're still continuing to look into the local businesses and maybe consolidate some of our phone plans to one area and using a local uniform shop as opposed to expediting it. And then rising crime and there was a nice response with the traffic concern, people running stop signs and so on and so forth, speeding. There was a big response on Facebook with that. So I was wondering if he was going to speak on that behalf. That it seems like there's a concern with the population, the citizens here about the car safety and traffic safety with the surrounding areas. And then last but not least, I would love if we could have a little more statistics instead of giving out a lot of blanket statements. Cities always do this, cities always do that, cities do this, cities do that. So maybe just a little more references. That would be so much easier for us to understand. So that's it. I'll give my time back. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so next we're going to move on to our departmental items here. And first we're going to start with item number 8A1, Mr. City Manager.
Mayor Serta, members of the City Council, agenda item 8A1 is approval to update the guidelines for the CARES Act program funding for CDBG-CV received from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, to alleviate the negative economic impacts of COVID-19. Following the initial application period and assessment of the original guidelines, it was determined that business could be assisted more with changes allowing the city more latitude while remaining in adherence with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development federal guidelines. Changes of original guidelines are as follows: increase maximum grant amount from $20,000 to $30,000 for up to 6 months of commercial rent assistance. Eliminate requirement that landlord must participate in rent deduction. Add requirement that businesses must have a reasonable expectation to continue business, and authorize the city manager and/or the CFO make exceptions to the city guidelines in case of extraordinary circumstances. Staff's research indicates that these revisions to the original guidelines will facilitate the current application process and allow the city to provide assistance to the qualified applicants. The Small Business Assistance Program is currently at $370,000 and funding provided by the CARES Act through the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. What's required is approve the update to the program guidelines of the CARES Act funding received from the U.S. Department of Housing and U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Okay. Thank you. Does any member of the council have any questions or comments?
Madam Mayor, this is Mayor Pro Tem Henderson. Mr. City Manager, regards to the requirements that we used before, will we continue with those same requirements and there's been no changes that HUD wants us to do or anything like that?
Mayor Pro Tem, all we're doing with this new set of guidelines is relaxing some of the things that we've implemented before, just to make it easier for folks to be able to qualify for the funding. We're also increasing the limit. We used to have it at 20,000. We want to give them the opportunity to get an aid up to 30,000 and up to 6 months of commercial rent assistance.
Thank you.
Let me just interject real quick here. Deputy Clerk, can you send the tech guys down here one more time, please? Thank you.
Madam Mayor, I have a question.
Go ahead.
How will we, I guess, make this information available to our business owners so more of them know? Because sometimes folks don't participate because there's a lack of knowledge. They don't know. So what are we doing to make sure?
Councilmember Francis, from the beginning, our economic development team has been working really hard to reach out to all of our businesses. We have an email blast that has hundreds upon hundreds of email addresses. And we also do some direct outreach to them to make sure that they are aware of the programs that we have. Not to mention, we have it on our website. We have it on our economic development website. We do Facebook, all the social media. just so they know that, if they qualify, they're more than welcome to apply. So far we've had 30 applications, and then we've granted 16 awards to this. So we're slowly moving forward with this program.
Thank you.
Any more questions or comments? Okay. If not, then can I get a motion to approve the updated guidelines?
Madam Mayor, pardon me, we have a hand up, Mr. Martinez.
Okay.
Mr. Martinez. Thank you.
There we go. Just a couple questions. Are we sending it in multiple languages instead of just English? And then, is there any way we could put more flyers out to the business owners, so that way we can make sure we do a cross spread as opposed to just relying upon our social media and so on and so forth? I think maybe if we took some of that money we spend for the COVID signs, we could do it for the business owners to help them with this process. And how long does the process take? Maybe put like a flyer together. This is kind of how long it takes, is the steps that you got to do. Call us if you have any questions, and then have it in multiple languages. Has that been done? Those are my two questions. Thank you.
Okay, I apologize. I stepped out for a second here. Those questions that they had, Mr. City Managers, do you want to address those or?
Madam Mayor, I am going to research what language we have the information on as far as the CARES Act. We do have, we put out flyers, all the information that anybody could ever need as far as instructions and how do I qualify, if I qualify, are in the flyers. They're in the website, in our website, both of our City of Gardena website and the Economic Development website. And also on the email blast that we sent out to the business. But we'll look into the languages that we have it available.
Okay, are there any other comments or questions? Okay, if not, can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Councilmember Francis and a second by Mayor Pro Tem. Will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Francis.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Henderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Tanaka.
Yes.
Councilmember Kaskanian.
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. And Mayor Pro Tem, can I ask you to take over real quickly, just because I'm having some technical difficulties with my iPad? Can you just keep the meeting going?
Sure. So next we'll go to, we did 8A1, no items 8B, 8B. Let's go, Mr. City Manager, item 8C, elected administrative offices, COVID-19 update. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Henderson. Item 8C1 is our COVID-19 update. I'm going to be sharing my screen briefly to show our dashboard. So just a quick update on coronavirus in the City of Gardena, how it's affecting us. Some quick stats here. Overall, our case count in Gardena as of September 8th is 1,182 persons infected. Our death count is at 43. We're now third in the South Bay out of 15 as far as the highest infection rate per capita. And our infection rate, speaking of that, is 1.99%. Over the last 2 weeks, the number of positive COVID-19 cases increased in our city by 8.14%, with an average daily increase of 0.61%. So in comparison to LA County, they are at 5.89% increase over the last 2 weeks. Again, we're at 8.14. I do want to point out that as far as our healthcare facilities, our local healthcare facilities are stable, and they're able to meet and maintain all the needs without any request for assistance. LA County currently is in tier 1 of the state's new framework, indicating this transmission of COVID-19 is still widespread. As of September 2nd, 2020, hair salons and barbershops may reopen indoor services at 25% capacity. I want to talk a little bit about our CARES Act funding. Again, we're at $367,000 from the federal government. We received 30 applications. We have awarded 16 grant awardees to date, and 25 outdoor dining applications have been received. This portion of the dashboard just shows, again, our total cases and our total death count, and the blue dots represent the trend line. And the bars represent our actual cases. As you can see, the trend line is still going up. It hasn't plateaued and hasn't flattened. So it's important to note that we should continue following CDC guidelines and LA County health guidelines to always practice social distancing, wear a mask, and wash your hands frequently. Mayor Pro Tem, that ends the report on coronavirus 19.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Madam City Clerk, are there any public speakers for this item here?
It appears that we have a hand up, Mr. Martinez.
Okay. Please put the timer up, and then Mr. Martinez, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for that. Couple quick questions. Can we clarify exactly where in Gardena it's happening? Is it unincorporated? It's incorporated? What's the case? That mortality rate of the numbers you've shown, that's a great put together presentation. Thank you for that. It's actually very, very, very nice. So good job there. But the mortality rate on is 4%, right? But we still have parks and churches still closed. Are we going to make a concerted effort to show that we need to follow back our give our constitutional rights and open up the churches and let people go back to the parks? This is, I think it's been a long overdue. We have a population of 60,000 people. So once again, that's not a lot of people. So I hope that we're not just following the crowd on what everybody else is doing, because I thought we're better than that. We're the city of Gardena. So I would love for us to really question what we're doing here and start relaxing some of our requirements, because I think we're still making a lot more mistakes. And last but not least, I know we used a Gustavo force of the police department to go and do enforcement or education of different businesses. Did they take the CARES flyers when they did that? That could have been an opportunity. Or when we start doing these food drives or all kinds of different events, are we really spreading the word and handing out flyers and stuff like that too for this, so we can help overcome this problematic situation? Because COVID is really, really disrupting everything. We're paying a lot of money for permits to get stuff done, and it's taking forever, but we're not getting any money back. So we're getting less service, but we're still paying. And everything is seems to be kind of excused now, like due to COVID, due to COVID, due to COVID. We should have planned better. I said this when you had the state of the dinner of the city that we had 2 or 3 years ago. Was it 3 years ago now? Should have had a better contingency plan, a business continuity plan that clearly was not a priority. So maybe we can learn from it. Lessons learned, right? So I hope that we could really look at that, open up the church for dramatically low. So that's all I have to say. So I'll yield back my 45 seconds. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Before I go to you, Mr. City Manager, do any of my colleagues have anything they want to ask the city manager before I have him clarify something for us?
I have a comment once you're finished, but.
Oh, okay. Does any other colleague have anything they'd like to state in regards to the report presented by the city manager?
Well,
Hearing,
just a comment, just my
Go ahead.
comment. You know, I've said this before. I understand we have 61,000 people in our community, but public health is going to always be at the top of the line before anything. And every time I look at those numbers, I think about it every single day, as well as I know this entire council does. We're going to continue doing what we're doing because we're here to protect the community. So if it means we have to stay closed, we're working with our businesses to make the best accommodations we can. We're encouraging everybody to wear their masks, wash their hands, practice social distancing. And we've had to scale back with our skeleton crews and at times even not have City Hall open to the public the way we used to. We're doing the best we can in these trying times. And unfortunately, just about everything Corona is affecting. I mean, whether you're trying to go to work, whether you want to go to a social event, whether you want to spend time with your family and you're not able to be with your loved ones, whether they're older or younger, if you want a vacation, we can blame it all on Corona. Unfortunately, 2020 is just a year we're just going to have to let go because everything we had planned this year just didn't happen. And, you know, all we can do is plan and prepare for 2021. And as a city, we have been preparing in a lot of ways for all sorts of things like earthquakes, terrorist attacks. We have our CERT training that many of us have all taken and we're all certified in. So we planned for a lot of things to happen. I won't say a lot of things, but certain situations to happen. Will we think of everything? Corona was one that who knew where that was coming from? But I think we've done very well with what we've had to deal with. So as it relates to that, again, we can blame just about everything on Corona at this point. And we're just going to continue doing the best we can and trying to keep our community safe, whether it means opening businesses or keeping some closed, and just go from there.
Madam Mayor, can I add
well,
something?
before you add something, Mr. City Manager, because there's some specific things I think we need to make sure folks understand is that, you know, the actions that we've taken as a city are the actions that we need to have taken, but we're also part of Los Angeles County, and a lot of the requirements that we have to take and the actions we have to take in regards to our Emergency Operations Center are congruent with what Los Angeles County Public Health is requiring us to do. So can you elaborate on that a little bit more for our own edification, please?
So for the LA County to relax some of the restrictions that they've imposed because of COVID-19, certain milestones have to be met, certain data have to be met. You know, the infection rate needs to be at a steady, flat, not increasing. The death rate needs to go down. So without LA County's guidance on relaxing and opening up businesses and whatnot, the city simply cannot act on anything because we don't have our own public health director. So we're always going to defer to LA County Public Health as far as when we can open up certain industries in our city.
And one other item I think we also need to clarify for the community as well as ourselves is that because Gardena has 3 zip codes, 9024, 7, 8, and 9, there's Gardena proper, then there's the unincorporated areas. And we've asked that question of LA County as well as where are the numbers coming from? Is it Gardena proper or is it on our edges? And they still have not been able to further delineate the data to that level. So I just want to make sure that everybody's clear on that. Mr. City Manager, if you could add some more context to that.
Right. So when we do get the cases, it doesn't specify exactly where for HIPAA purposes as far as Privacy Act. They can't disclose the addresses. They can't disclose where the people are coming from, where they live and whatnot. All they give us is a number as far as you know, how many cases per day or how many deaths that we've had in any given date. So for privacy purposes, they can't disclose that information. So therefore, we don't know if it's unincorporated or it's in the city proper.
Thank you with that. Madam City Attorney, because this is just a presentation, we can receive and file. There's no need to take any motions. Anything on this, correct?
That's correct, Madam Pro Tem, Mayor Pro Tem.
All right, Madam Mayor, you back in the con? You got it?
I'm back. I'm back. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Relinquish the con.
Okay, so next we're going to move on to item number 8E1. Mr. City Manager.
Mayor, sir, the members of the City Council, agenda item 8E1 is notification of eligibility for funding in the amount of $22,685 under the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant, or JAG program, fiscal year 2020 local formula solicitation. On July 9, 2020, PD received notification from the United States Department of Justice, Bureau of Justice Assistance, that the City of Gardena is eligible to receive funding in the amount of $22,685 under the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant, or JAG program 2020 local formula solicitation. The JAG program assists state, local, and tribal efforts to prevent or reduce crime and violence. JAG funds may be used to enhance law enforcement programs in the areas of technical assistance, training, personnel, equipment, supplies, and contractual support. It is the intent of the Gardena Police Department to utilize the JAG program funding to purchase 13 mobile digital computers, or MDCs, to be installed in patrol vehicles to replace the equipment that is out of date and no longer operational. Staff respectfully recommends for City Council to receive and file this notification of eligibility for funding in accordance with the Bureau of Justice BGA requirement that the application may be available for review by the governing body of the state or unit of local government. Public notification will also appear in the local newspaper announcing such and will allow for public comment as required under the JAG program. The financial impact is that we will be receiving $22,685 under the JAG grant funding amount, and what's required is receive and file.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments on this item?
Madam Mayor, this is Mayor Pro Tem Henderson. Mr. City Manager, in regards to the installation of the 13 devices, are we going to go out to see if we can get a bid to install those, or just use our in-house personnel?
We use the Regional Communication Center, the RCC, to install the new MDCs. We use them for outfitting our vehicles. When we buy them brand new, we put the bars and we put the lights and whatnot. Also, all electronic items such as the MDC is installed there. So if we have to replace them, we send them over there, and then they take care of it. It's part of our membership.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? If not, we'll go ahead and receive and file this.
Madam Mayor,
Oh,
excuse me. We have a speaker from the public, Mr. Martinez.
Okay.
Mr. Martinez.
Yes, sorry, real quick. We don't have to go through an RFP. Can we go through a sole source to really help these guys out? And is that thought about to incorporate with that new antenna system to even maybe coincide with replacing some of their computers to also go with the radio equipment, so it's all in one, or is that not a possibility? That was my question for that. And is there any way we can get backups just in case one goes down or a car accident happens and that car's out of service? They're not going to be down a computer. They could use it too as well. Once again, I think going back with this COVID, just have some backups as a backup plan. I think that'd be great. That was my comment, and then my question was the first one. Thank you. That's it.
Mr. City Manager, would you like to answer that or defer that over to the chief?
I can answer that, Madam Mayor. I don't understand what Mr. Martinez is referring to as far as RFP. There is no RFP to go out to bid. Like I said, we send all of our cars, brand new cars, or any cars that need to be outfitted to a regional communication center, RCC in Hawthorne, be outfitted with any needs that it needs, like an MDC. That what we're buying here is MDC, their computers. We outfit it and send it there at no, the cost is already included in our membership with the RCC. As to having reserves or having extras, we don't feel the need that we should have an extras. We don't need to keep one. The RCC should have supply of any replacement parts that they need, and they can get them pretty fast.
Okay, very good. Are there any other questions or comments? Okay, if not, I think we've already gotten to the point where we're receiving and filing this item here. Next up is item number 8G1. Mr. City Manager.
Mayor Serta, members of the City Council, agenda item 8G1 is to ratify administrative approval of the purchase of 3 decontamination systems from Creative Bus Sales in the amount of $65,498.43. Under the City Manager's Emergency Authority granted by City Council on March 19, G-Trans and the City of Gardena made an emergency purchase of 3 Aeroclave portable decontamination systems, or PDSs, at a cost of $13,999 each, and requisite equipment from Creative Bus Sales to maintain proper levels of cleaning for employees and members of the public. The PDS will be used by G-Trans and Public Works to clean city buses, vehicles, and office spaces. This heavy-duty commercial-grade system will make it easy and safe for G-Trans and the Public Works Department staff to decontaminate vehicles, equipment, and rooms up to 9,000 cubic feet. In response to the pandemic, both G-Trans and Public Works increased the frequency and scope of cleanings. Consequently, both divisions have devoted increased labor hours to adhere to high cleaning standards. By using PDS, the city will be able to clean an increased amount of space more thoroughly and efficiently, thereby providing staff the time needed to tend to other essential duties. The PDS is equipped to disinfect up to 3 areas simultaneously using a safe, EPA-approved disinfectant that is proven to eliminate the virus that causes COVID-19. Staff researched 3 other decontamination systems and determined that the Aeroclave system provides a degree of versatility and efficacy unmatched by its competitors. The cost of $65,498.43 includes sales tax and delivery. The funding source would be G-Trans Enterprise Fund for $49,123.82 and the Coronavirus Relief Fund for $16,374.61. What's required is to ratify administrative approval of purchase.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments?
Madam Mayor, it's Mayor Pro Tem Henderson. The comment I'd like to add, I've seen actually these machines actually in action, and it saves a lot of staff time as far as cleaning facilities and different things like that, classrooms and everything, where it takes one person to try to wipe a space down and everything. This cuts the time down dramatically. So this is a good investment. And if we can get 3 of them, that'd be great, because our buses are always in the public. Our Public Works machines, they're always out there in their vehicles. So I'm definitely in support of this. I've seen these work, and these are a great investment.
Mayor Pro Tem Henderson, that's a great point. If you watch, CNN or any other news outlets in previous months, you see these folks with, foggers. It's essentially foggers, right? So it cuts down on the cleaning because you don't have to wipe the surfaces. You just fog, and then the chemical or the disinfectant lands on the surface and then effectively cleans the surface. What it is, the active ingredient in this is vinyl oxide. It's an oxidizing agent, which is highly efficient and effective against COVID-19. As we know, COVID-19 is a lipid-based organism, which is encased in fat. So when you add an oxidizing agent, it renders the fat, it dissolves it, and then kills the organism. So it really does cut down on time because it's just a fogging machine, and then you can clean cars and buses in a short period of time.
Okay, nice.
Is this the industry standard in LA County, or are we like on the cutting edge again, getting stuff that nobody else has?
It's sort of it's become industry standard now, but in a short period of time, but it is cutting edge technology. You don't see this stuff, 12 months ago, because there was no need for it. But if you look at other countries, that's how they decon big amount of surfaces. It's just fogging it with this type of disinfectant.
Yeah, I agree with Mayor Pro Tem. It's a great device. I've seen it.
Okay. All right, any more questions or comments? Okay, if not, can I get a motion to ratify the emergency purchase?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Councilmember Tanaka and a second by Councilmember Kaskanian. Will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Tanaka.
Yes.
Councilmember Kaskanian.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Henderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Francis. Councilmember Francis.
Yes.
Thank you. Mayor Serta.
Yes. Okay, next we're going to move on to council directives. Mr. City Manager.
Madam Mayor, are we doing the council directives first?
I'm sorry, council directors. Before we do that, Deputy Clerk, can you send the tech guys down here one more time, please? Go ahead, directors. Does any member of the council have any directives at this time?
Madam Mayor, this is me. Did you want to go 9A council items first and give yourself a little time? And then
No,
go to
no.
the-
We don't have any council items there.
Okay, well, I do have one directive, actually two. I want to thank staff.
Anderson, I do, but go ahead, I'll go after you.
I want to thank the staff for providing us all the notes in regards to receivership and in relationship to abandoned properties. And I was wondering now if we could probably do a test case with two properties to see how diligent we are with keeping up and those owners keeping up with their property. So I was wondering if I could get a second to start doing a test case with the Chase property on Rosecrans and Perchie and the abandoned property on El Segundo and Western to see how diligent we are with giving them notices of weed abatement, graffiti removal, and different things like that as we start building our case towards whatever comes next.
I'll second that.
All right. And then the next one, I think.
Councilman Henderson, just for clarification,
Yes.
since you did get a second on that item, we will agendize it for closed session where you guys can then vote on whether you would like to initiate litigation, which would be the receivership action.
Okay.
So that would be the appropriate place where we will place it, just so you know.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. And the second item, I think tonight we've learned a lot and I've learned a lot. We probably need to do some sort of community educational forum in regards to budget and funds and different things like that. I know a lot of folks may not have had an opportunity to participate in the budgeting process, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the budget in brief, but some sort of something where we can have definitions and legends and terms used so folks can kind of get a better understanding of kind of how we conduct our business or their business or our business.
Yeah. Special funds versus general fund and all that other stuff. I'll second that.
Thank you. Councilman.
Mayor Pro Tem, just a clarification, you did say a community education, is it a forum or a form?
Maybe just, terms and
Oh, like a glossary
abbreviation,
type of,
like
okay.
a glossary and
So
fiscal
we'll,
years versus calendar year. And,
okay,
we have our state fiscal year, July 1 to June 30, and there's the federal year, October 1 to September 30. So folks can kind of understand the difference between G-Trans funding versus our general fund versus whatever special funds we receive.
Grant funds.
Grant funds and all that.
so what we're gonna do is supplement the budget and brief with this type of
Yeah,
information.
and it doesn't have to be
document.
necessarily be that, but yeah, something.
Okay,
And I think it'll help us all out. And thank you, Councilman Tanaka, for that.
Yes,
second.
sir.
Now,
Good idea.
Would you include that on the agenda as well? When you're looking at, as a part of the education process, would you say special fund or general fund, or can you do that on the agenda? So that people,
I think it says it in the,
It's in there.
it's in the communication when something
it's in the,
says,
it's in the funding source, Councilmember Francis.
yeah, it'll say, no
Financial.
general fund or special fund. It says it at the bottom.
Yeah, G-Trans Enterprise Fund and a Coronavirus Relief Fund, it'll tell you.
let me, maybe come up and point it out to me, because I don't see it, but anyway. I think I got one more month to be new.
I'll call you.
Thank you.
And that's all I have. Thank you, Madam Mayor and colleagues for that.
Okay,
I'll be quiet.
are there any more directives?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
Madam Mayor, let me start with where I left off before. I had asked about business revitalization for the establishment, or looking into putting together a social media campaign for our businesses, especially our restaurants, because I think we have something very special and unique in the city of Gardena with a number of multicultural restaurants and nice places where you can sit down and have a meal for just about any anything that you would like. And I was just wondering about the progress of that. And I know I've seen some things on Facebook with, I think, Sumo Sushi, and they've gotten quite a few likes and quite a few comments. And then there have been a couple others, but I would like to see a full campaign. I know I mentioned I was driving past Mr. Fry's there on Western. There was this long line. There always seemed to be a long line. My niece saying, "Oh, that's Mr. Fry's. We need to go there." I said, "Well, how do you know about it?" She said, "I saw it on Instagram." So anything that hits Instagram seems like it attracts the young folks who, as we all know, have all the extra money to spend eating out or like to eat out. So I was just wondering about the progress of that. I hadn't heard anything.
Councilmember Francis, just to answer that question, we do have a scheduled study session on the topic that you're referring to. It's going to be a study session and a presentation headed by Spencer Dela Cruz and our economic development team. We're going to be adjourning tonight to the study session for the next council meeting.
Thank you. That's fantastic. And just another, I'm not quite sure if this was, it was a legal notice that was in the Gardena Valley News about the city of Gardena being sued. I don't know if if they should put it forth as directive or just has to do with our pension obligation bond.
Maybe I can just clarify that, Councilmember Francis. So part of the process of the pension obligation bond issue is that we have to validate our debt to CalPERS. It's called a judicial validation. So if you look at the publication, we have to actually publish that 3 weeks in a row. So if you look at the plaintiff, is actually the city of Gardena. So all we're doing really is filing an issue with the courts to validate our debt to CalPERS. That's all we're doing. There is no other party involved that's suing us. We're actually, quote unquote, suing ourselves technically, but there really is no lawsuit. We're just filing with the court to validate our claim that we do owe this amount to CalPERS. So the court would actually specify the amount that we owe CalPERS so that we can use that amount to determine how much bond we need when we do issue the pension obligation bond.
Yeah, thank you so much. Because one of my neighbors called in and said, "Paulette, we're being sued. What's going on?"
Yeah, if they look at the plaintiff, it's actually the city of Gardena because we're the ones that filing it.
All right, thank you very much. And just one more, and then I'll be finished. And I'll read. It shouldn't take more than a couple minutes to read this. I just want to make sure. It says the anticipated increase in homelessness due to increased unemployment, family stress, and other factors resulting from COVID-19 dictates we must be the bridge to education for many of our students experiencing homelessness. We must answer the question, how can they work from home and gain access to the technology necessary to participate in online distance learning while experiencing homelessness? Therefore, I'm proposing the Homeless Student Education Initiative as a response. It should be our desire to introduce the Homeless Student Education Initiative, which proposes to use federal, state, and local county Measure H funds to help students experiencing homelessness to gain access to technology and facilities so that they may fully participate in online distance learning. I recommend that the City of Gardena form a task force of organizations and interested parties charged with the responsibility of helping to support the education of students experiencing homelessness by identifying city-owned properties, libraries, classroom, parks, recreation facilities, thereby providing a safe location for them. Students experiencing homelessness may also lack access to technology, including internet, hotspots, a computer, and/or appropriate mobile device that will allow them to participate fully in online distance learning. In order to eliminate these barriers to full participation in online distance learning, schools and communities should work together to provide students experiencing homelessness with access to mobile hotspots, laptops, tablets, and other materials necessary so that they can fully participate in online distance learning. Further, schools and communities should work together to establish and implement a sensitive and discreet protocol for asking students and their families about the possibility of lack of supplies or other barriers to online distance learning. Accordingly, I also request that the city reach out to our internet providers to position the city to help students experiencing homelessness so they can take advantage of low-income programs, location of one to two, 3-year-old technology for use. In this process, the city should work with local nonprofits to seek donations of technology, school supplies, and tools to help ensure students experiencing homelessness success in this online distance learning. I believe that through working together, schools and communities can address the challenge presented by COVID-19 with innovation, creativity, and partnership. Through a coordinated response, schools and community organizations can leverage the power of collective impact to protect the health and safety of our children, youth, and families experiencing homelessness. And you know, as a public school teacher, I know from firsthand experience that we do have students that are experiencing homelessness. And I talked with Ms. Martinez, this administrator for local district South, our Gardena Community Schools, and she said that there are about 400 students that are experiencing homelessness right now, about 4 to 5% of the population. And in terms of the task force, there's already a body of folks that have been working. That's a part of the partnership that we established with Gardena Community Schools. And Ms. Martinez, Stephanie's on the committee, partnership part of that. Nikki, Ms. Martinez, and Superintendent Romero. So we have a group that we can begin working with. It's just that I just need to, make sure that we establish it as an initiative, something that we want to move forward with, and find ways to help provide funding for the mobile hotspots because they're not free, and technology students may need, and also help to identify facilities that our children can use.
Councilwoman Francis, I don't know if you're aware, but GGIP is available and they're already working on assisting kids with that issue. That's
Who's that?
GGIP, our GGIP program.
Now let me, can I talk with them? Because again,
they're already doing that.
I know a lot of things that we're doing, somebody's already doing. It's just that nobody else knows. So, but if you can give me, furnish me the contact information, I'd like to get together with them. You said what's the whole name?
GGIP, Gardena Juvenile Justice Intervention Program. They've been for 4 years now. They work with the city they're part of the PD, and they've been doing this for some time now. We have an officer assigned to this.
I thought that was for children that were experiencing difficulty with the juvenile system.
Their program is expanded, but I'm sure they can tell you more detail.
Yeah, if you can give me their contact information, because they should. What we're trying to do is bring everybody together, but I doubt. I don't know. Like I said, right now, I'll investigate and find out, what their expansion is. But I usually when you talk about juvenile diversion and police officers, you're talking about children that are part of the juvenile system, or at least in that area. These are kids that may have not been identified. And I think what bothered me is that, I don't know if you saw it on Facebook or either on the news, where there were 2 kids, and these kids are too young to be a part of this juvenile center. They were sitting outside a Taco Bell trying to get their work done. So, and a lot of these children, I don't know what the age limit for this juvenile group, GGIP, or the Juvenile Detention Center, or
not detention, no, GGIP, it's the Juvenile Justice Intervention Program.
Just an intervention program. That sounds like something for older kids, but these were younger children, and we're talking about about 400 kids, and I'm sure I wouldn't limit if there are other areas or a much larger group, because I don't know how many children that this particular group can accommodate. But if you're talking about 400 children,
I'm sorry, we have 400 homeless kids in Gardena right now.
And okay, now listen to this. It's the Gardena Community of Schools. I don't know if, part of what's happening with our local district South is under the leadership of Superintendent Michael Romero, he were able to carve out a group of schools that are within the city of Gardena. And Ms. Rosemary Martinez has been assigned as the administrator. And so we can start working with a partnership and to support our schools, and they support our city sponsored activities. There's a brochure on it, everything. And so, and I asked her about how many kids. I know there are children experiencing homelessness. There's, they're just because of what's going on with our economy and COVID, and people being laid off and losing jobs. And I asked her, how many children are there? And she told me there are about 400 children within this Gardena Community Schools that are experiencing homelessness.
Okay, I think before we go any further, I think we might need to look into this, because I talk to a superintendent on a regular basis and to Rosemary, and this is very new to me, but maybe if we could hold off a little bit, I'd like to know just a little bit more before we move forward and look at making this an action item just yet, because this is.
What more would you need to know? Or what?
I mean, 400 homeless kids and this program, and I'm curious what LAUSD, I mean, they have a facility. I mean, I understand why they've closed theirs down because of COVID, but there again, I mean, if we're trying to facilitate this, I mean, we're already on a skeleton crew. As much as I want to help any and everybody, especially our children, I think, I mean, I need a lot more information before we look to go any further with this.
Well, that's what the, okay. That's what the task force would be. That's what the whole idea is, to establish a task force so we could look into it, so we could identify exactly what the need is and what services before. But and that's all I'm simply asking, is just to put together a group of folks. We have a group of folks that can work that way, and just asking for a group of folks that we can sit down and take a look at. And if I can't get a second on it, and or you don't feel it's necessary to move forward as an initiative, that 400 kids, whether in the city of Gardena. I just
like a little bit more information just before we move forward. That's all.
Listen, if that's where you stand with it, you know, that's what the task force would be. And I don't want to delay the hours, getting it's like 9:25 right now. No. I don't want beat the dog at whatever the term is. But if you don't feel it's necessary, or you don't.
I didn't say I didn't feel it's necessary. I just said I'd like to know more information. That's all.
Madam Mayor, and Councilmember Francis.
Look at it, then that's okay.
I was going to ask, when does the task force meet? Because there's a lot of pieces that are missing to this puzzle, and I've been in a couple other committee meetings talking something specific to this, because there's a lot of pieces missing. When does the task force meet? So I can definitely participate and shed some light on some of this.
All I said that we have part of the committee already together. We've been working on putting together a partnership between the school district and the city, but you know, if you don't feel that this is an issue or concern, or
no, it is an issue. I want to know when it meets so I can participate, because there's some other pieces that LAUS.
Well, like Healthy Start, why aren't they a part of this as well? Because that's more what they do as well within LAUSD. So I just want to make sure we know.
We're not duplicating any effort, you know, because if we were, and from my way of thinking, homelessness, it's not going to get any better. It's not going away. And I believe it's to the point where it's going to take more than one little group. I think part of what's going on, you have this one little group of people that are trying to solve the whole problem. And it's going to take a little bit more than that. I think, like I said, it's going to take concerted effort of the city and the community, everybody working together, and not just, because these children, they're part of our city. You say, oh, that's LAUSD's problem. Well, of course it is, because that's where they attend school. You see what I'm saying?
We all understand the importance of it, but again,
but I'm good with it. I'm good. If you don't want to do this, fine.
We didn't say we didn't want to do it. We just said we need a little bit more information. We need more information. Well, if somebody wants to second it, then you can go forward. If there's somebody who wants to second it.
And I'm done. Thank you.
Councilmember Francis, when does the committee meet?
Mayor Henderson, I'll be happy to discuss it with you after the meeting or another date. But right now, I don't want to take any more time any more important time of our citizens that are watching, and our other council members who it's like 9:30, and it's about time for everybody to get to bed. So I'm good with it.
I just want to know when the group meets.
Call me, we'll talk. Okay? Call me, we'll talk.
Councilmember Francis.
Call me, we'll talk. I'm good. Now, because this, forgive me if I seem to be a bit frustrated and a bit like a little salty with this. I'm a public school teacher, and this is something I'm seeing in my classroom. This is not something where I see it all the time. And I thought, at least in our city, this might be something we'd be willing to deal with. Whether you had all the pieces of the puzzle or had all the information, at least we're willing to at least look into and see what's going on. And if you're not, that's okay. We're going to make it happen.
I don't think anybody stated that. I'm thinking that because there's some infrastructure pieces, and that's why I want to talk to the task force. When does it meet so I can make sure that I'm there?
Call me.
Exactly. Councilmember Francis.
I'm good, thank you.
Can we talk? I would like to talk to you regarding this tomorrow. Is that possible?
No, I'm finished. Thank you very much. Thank you all for your support. Thank you. I thank you, the children. Thank you.
Okay, are there any other directors at this time? Okay, if not, we're going to move on to city manager remarks regarding our directives.
Mayor Serta, members of the city council. I do have a few memos in your packets tonight. The first one being an update from Councilmember Cascanian's directives. First is the update on a property northwest corner of Marine and Western. Another update on a U-Haul property corner of Van Ness and Rosecrans. And an update on a property on the southeast corner of Marine and Western. Also, I did provide a memo regarding the Dominguez Channel project to address safety issues surrounding several homeless encampments that are set up along the LA County Dominguez Channel property. I also sent a memo regarding an email that was sent by a resident regarding traffic safety concerns in the 15200 block of Atkinson Avenue. Traffic safety evaluation was conducted, and the details of the study is within the memo itself. I'm also pleased to announce that the city has deployed its new fiber optic network ring as part of the South Bay COG. I'm sure Mayor Pro Tem would appreciate this. It is a fiber optic network ring, and it'll provide high-speed internet to the city at the substantial savings. So we're basically going from 1 gigabyte to 10 gigabyte speed. We do have a public service announcement on our Wind Down Wednesdays. Because of COVID-19, we can't continue with the food, wine, and brew. Instead, we have a fundraiser called the Wind Down Wednesdays. You can purchase your raffle ticket for a chance to win a wine basket and support a great cause. We will hold a drawing every Wednesday in September. Purchase your tickets for only $5. The more you buy, the better the odds of winning. Raffle drawings will be held in the following dates: September 2nd, September 9th, 16th, 23rd, and the 30th. We are having a grocery giveaway on Saturday, September 19, 2020. This is going to be at Johnson Park, 1200 West 170th Street. It's going to be from 10 a.m. until we run out. So please go on out there and get a giveaway. We do ask you that do not line up until 9:45 to reduce vehicle wait times. Last but not least, I believe we have a video on our upcoming 90th year anniversary. The city was established on September 11, 1930, and has since become the greatest city in the South Bay. We want to commemorate this milestone with a small celebration that brings out the community safely. Join us on Saturday, September 19, 2020 to celebrate the city's 90th year anniversary. This event will be a drive-through event with music, entertainment, and giveaways. If you would like one of our limited edition masks, make sure to bring 9 cans of food for our city's food pantry. All donations will go back to the community for those who are in need. This is the sample of our mask. Again, 9 cans of goods for one of these special edition masks. Mayor Cerda, so ends my report.
All right. How about that? Oh, that side. Thanks, Councilmember. You got yours on too. Okay. Next up are our council remarks. We're going to begin tonight with Councilmember Cascanian.
Yes, Madam Mayor, thank you. Madam Mayor, I would like, first of all, I would like to congratulate our officers, captains and sergeant who retired today. Captain Nico, Sergeant Gonzalez, and Officer Evans. thank you for your service. I've known all three of them for quite a bit years, and it was a very pleasure working with them. They were a great asset to the city, and I would like to thank them for their service, and good luck for their new endeavor if they're going out on a new adventures. So, and Madam Mayor, I would like to adjourn today's meeting, if it's possible, please, in the memory of my uncle who passed today in his sleep. He was a long-time business member over here in City of Gardena on 17,000 block of Western Avenue. I don't know if anybody of you guys remember Hayarabadi on Western Avenue. He passed away today, and I would like to adjourn the meeting in his memory. His name was Art Jarakian. So, and that's my report, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much, and we're so sorry for your loss. Next up is Councilmember Tanaka.
Sorry for your loss, Art. Let Sam know too. So anyway, I hope everybody had a great Labor Day. It was hot, but we hope you enjoyed the day. I attended a District 2 Zoom meeting, the first one they had. It was actually a pretty good meeting. I think this is probably going to be something new for all the district lieutenants to start doing. South Bay COG had a special law enforcement program on Zoom. Mayor Butts was the keynote speaker and gave us some really good information. Also attended the South Bay Scott COG membership meeting. And yes, our retirees, that's 90 years of knowledge that's now gone. And congratulations to all of them. Captain Wiki was actually one of my trainees. Vince Osorio was one of my SWAT guys, and Yvette was one of my people that pushed the radio car every day. She's just a great person. So congratulations to them. Attended the RCC regional meeting today. And I actually attended a couple of promotions today, which was a good thing. And don't forget the 90th anniversary. Bring those canned foods, because it's at this time in our and the way things are going, the food pantry really does need the food. So bring the food. It's a great thing that we need to do. And Madam Mayor, I think with that, that's the end of my report.
Okay, thank you. Next up is Mayor Pro Tem Henderson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Since our last meeting, first of all, I want to say, Art, sorry for your loss. May God hold your family close. I also want to thank the retirees for their 30 years of service. 30 years is a long time. That's most of my life. So that's a long time doing something you love. And congratulate those that have been promoted to new positions. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. So good luck in your new leadership role. Since our last meeting, as Mr. City Manager stated, the fiber ring or fiber optic opportunities are now within the city of Gardena. South Bay COG is developing a group to determine what some of the things that can be done in regards to leveraging our fiber within the South Bay. So we're in discussions with that. That meeting is tomorrow. I was also at SCAG. I was at my Community and Environmental and Health Development Committee meeting, and we talked about the LAUSD extension of their bond in regards to technology and what they're going to do. I gave them some ideas in regards to dealing with the digital divide and crossing that digital divide for a lot of folks in our community. If you look at the geography of our city, the way our city facilities are in some of our schools, there's an opportunity as LAUSD gets the funding for their bond measure and technology is to start creating a really wired city, or wireless city in regards to that. A lot of things that we are lacking now is the infrastructure. That's why it was important for me, Councilwoman Francis, to understand when that meeting is occurring to kind of share some of these things so we can see where we don't have to reinvent the wheel and get some understanding. So that funding is coming, the infrastructure is coming, And then there's that opportunity to make sure that there's Wi-Fi in our communities for those that are do not have access to Wi-Fi. So we're definitely going to be looking into that. As Council Member Tanaka stated, I was also at the COGS dialogue for elected officials on what we need to know about law enforcement and public safety. And he gave some real food for thought and everything. And he did remind us all that, you know, our public safety is responsible to us and their leadership, but they take guidance from us. So as we put ideas out there and collaborate with our chief, we can get what we want out of the process and everything. So we're still ultimately responsible. I will say that the relationship we have had with our chiefs through my time on council has been positive. With Chief Safel, it's going to be a real great collaboration. We've done the listening tour and a lot of great things have come out of that. Now we just kind of got to push it forward. So that was a great event. At my other SCAG meeting, we talked about Connect SoCal. Connect SoCal is the regional plan for a Southern California area of governments in regards to transportation and housing. And everybody understands and knows how I feel about our housing numbers and how we'll never meet them. However, there is a component in that plan related to jobs and jobs for underserved communities. So the new president of the SCAG organization is Councilmember Rex Richardson out of the city of Long Beach. He's created a race equity task force, and I'm a member of that task force. As we talk about all these race equity issues, that becomes a kind of a public health issue. To your point, homelessness, access to technology, and all that's kind of being dovetailed in. So I want to make sure that I contact you, Councilwoman Francis, to talk about this issue, because there are a lot of things that are underway, the funding, understanding the ongoing funding and the operating expenses and everything needs to be kind of fleshed out a little bit. I also attended, as a member of ICA, I attended the Los Angeles Business Federation meeting, and they had a robust discussion at the COVID-19 task force regarding the LA County's move to have public health councils inspecting various businesses within the LA County. The supervisors have not made a decision yet in regards to that, but the business community believes that it could be a hindrance to their business. So they want to propose some different ideas, like a rating system for businesses that are trying to meet the standards of being COVID clean, for lack of a better term. So LA BizFed is going to be reaching out to all 88 cities, as well as the supervisors, to see where we can get some clarity on what that means, because our community is a majority small businesses, and COVID has really negatively impacted a lot of our businesses. We have to think of a way for them to kind of still operate. We've done some things, but there's, like I say, there's always more that we can do. What other event did I went to? I participated in a voter registration event. Voting is important. November 3rd, as Madam City Clerk will state, is a very important election coming up. So we want to make sure we participate and understand all the propositions on the ballot. And Madam Mayor, I've done a lot of other stuff, but I'd like to end my report at that point. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. For myself, let me first start off by congratulating all of those who got promoted today, and I think a couple more are getting promoted on this coming Thursday. So congratulations in advance to those. And also special congratulations to those retiring, Lieutenant Nico, Officer Evans, and Sergeant Gonzalez. And, you know, in my probably over 21 years of kind of just being involved with the city of Gardena, I actually did a ride along with Sergeant Gonzalez. And I have to tell you, after that ride along, I think I saw every crime in the world that could happen. And it just totally opened my eyes to kind of seeing what goes on a day-to-day basis with our officers and what to expect. And I'm grateful for that, just to be able to see that in somebody else's eyes, because if I had to become an officer in this day and age, I would be afraid just to open the door and get out of the car. So I just take my hats off to the men and women who do that job. So once again, congratulations to them. I just want to also reiterate what our city manager mentioned earlier. Our 90th anniversary is coming up that we'll be celebrating on this coming Saturday. And everybody keeps asking me, how do you get one of these masks here? And I want to reiterate again, bring your 9 canned goods or items. Make sure they are not past the expiration date. We did a quick video on this, and as soon as I finished doing the video, everybody texted me and said, but tell me again, how can I get a mask? Once again, bring your items. And I think it's going to be a great day. And I'm just really excited the fact that we're celebrating our 90th anniversary. A lot of people can't say that for their city. And it's a wonderful thing to celebrate, especially a community like ours that is so diverse and some of the struggles that we've had to go through over a period of 90 years, good and bad. But at the end of the day, we are still here through what was it, on the brink of bankruptcies at one time, then watching us come back. And even with COVID, I mean, we're still here. So it's an awesome thing to celebrate. And I'm just thankful and we're blessed to be able to say we're moving forward. Couple of events I attended through Zoom. I attended my monthly CCGA meeting where I'm the chairperson as it relates to our casinos. We represent the cities in California, and we're still fighting to do what we can to get our casinos back open again. And one of the things that, you know, is really interesting is that the governor has said that all casinos have to close, but it's interesting to see the Native American casinos, not only are they open, but they have commercials, and they're just going on, you know, business as usual. We think it's a little unfair, but, you know, we're doing what we can to maybe get some outdoor entertainment for our casinos just to get them back open and going again. So just a little bit about what we're trying to do. So we're reaching out to the governor as it relates to that. Also, I attended my monthly sanitation meeting. And then the third Zoom meeting I attended was one through an organization called SURF that helps autistic children. And we just talk about some of the issues and concerns that they have as it relates to COVID. You know, how do they feel with all of this going on? I mean, we talk to adults and, you know, some people are depressed. They're feeling boxed in and not being able to go where they normally go. But, you know, a child that has learning disabilities, what does it mean for them? You know, are they able to express it and so on? So we just had a conversation with some other speakers and I was on there as well speaking. So really happy to be able to participate in that. And with that, oh, one more thing. It was mentioned earlier too about the food giveaway on September the 19th. Council member from the city of LA, Herb Wesson, was just awesome in the fact of just even reaching out to me and asking that the city of Gardena partner with them. So we definitely, those who are in need, please share that information with your family and friends. If you need groceries, we were in a conversation with him earlier today where he mentioned, I don't want to just give out 1 or 2 things. I want to give out a box, like 35-pound box of food that will last you 2 or 3 weeks. And I think that's awesome. So please spread the word if you know anybody who is in need of that. With that, that ends my report. And next up is Councilmember Francis.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank Mina, our city clerk, Minister Mensa, and Becky and the city clerk for that excellent presentation on voting. As you all know, we have a big election coming up on November 3rd, and I want to make sure everybody comes out and votes. And if you, as our city clerk said, if you have questions or you don't have access to a computer, please feel free to call their office. I find them to be very helpful when I have questions. And let me also assure you that they've worked very hard to make sure that that we're covered in the city of Gardena, particularly on the north end. So I thank you for hearing the concerns and for doing all that you can. I attended a while back with the City Clerk Summit, and I can appreciate what we're up against. So thank you very much. It was a very great presentation. Also, as I was listening to about Officer Yvette and Captain Nico and Sergeant Gonsalves, their start dates were October 1989. I remember I started teaching October 1989. So I have a sense of the resiliency and the persistence that it takes to keep one those 30 years day in and day out. And I'm still going anyway, but let me say thank you for your service. I'm sure it hasn't always been easy and there have been some difficult days, but I do appreciate what you've done for us and how well you've represented our city. So thank you. Also, you know, like everyone else, we're feeling the frustration. This COVID is going on. They said it'd be done by June, but it hasn't. So I feel the frustration. I'm ready to get back to church. I haven't been to church since March, and we were having Zoom, the other things that we're doing, but still, we still have to make sure that we protect ourselves and that we stay safe and we stay healthy, and that we're doing the very best we can. And there's always something more you can do. The biggest room in the house is room for improvement. So I hope we continue to look for ways to solve our problem. And since we last were together, we had Labor Day. We celebrate Labor Day. We're celebrating workers and the establishment of labor unions in our country. And if the pandemic hasn't pointed out, it's pointed out many truths and made clear many of the things. But one thing for certain is the importance of workers to our country, whether grocery workers or healthcare workers or teachers or postal carriers. Every time I see my guy walking down the street and drop the mail, I think he just keeps going. I say, yay, it's an essential worker because we need them. We need them. It's not all their fault when things don't go well, but they're putting their lives on the line as well. You know, these little barriers may not be as much protection for them as we think that they are. So as we go to the stores and our grocery clerks and servers, cashiers, tell them thank you. Thanks for being here. It's important that they're there. And we'll get through this. One way or the other, this too shall pass. And please know there are better days ahead. Thank you.
Okay, so next up are remembrances. Tonight, we're going to adjourn in memory of Mrs. Dorothy Helen Crosby McCain, who was 84 years of age, and she was the beloved mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother. Mrs. Crosby McCain was born in Mississippi, and before relocating to California, she led a successful boycott of the city of Jackson, Mississippi municipal bus lines. She was an active member of the community and volunteered as a poll worker within the city of Gardena from 1985 through 2000. We're also going to adjourn in memory of Mr. Art Jakarian, who was the uncle of Councilmember Art Kiskanian. So at this time, the Gardena City Council will adjourn to our study session prior to the closed session portion of the City Council meeting at 7 p.m. and followed by a regular City Council meeting at 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday, September 22nd, 2020. We are adjourned.
Night, everybody.
All right.